she said fuck. I'm trying to answer. Let me. I'm trying to answer. It won't let me answer. Oh my Cass, why are you doing this dumb shit? There we go, finally. Finally. They decided against all common sense to just say we're busy when for no reason at all. Okay, I've reset my entire computer. I've only got NUVR and Telegram running and OBS. That's all that's running right now. Is it finally not?
Let's see what Twitch says. Oh, you gotta be fucking shitting me.
What the fuck? Is it not working?
Reset my internet. Let me reset my internet thing again because, like, it brought up the pause and
and now my left controller isn't slow, so fuck, I'm gonna have to change that. Good thing your battery's close by.
Yeah, I bought one of those 32 packs.
Yes, I got 54 pack. Alright, controller, fuck off.
I'm gonna disappear for a moment and then come back. I'm gonna reset my internet. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me know when you're back.
It'll be about 3 minutes, my phone says.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that, people. We're having constant issues. Apparently, for some unfathomable reason, even though everything is set up, I'm authenticated with Twitch, I'm currently streaming through Twitch, nothing is working, and apparently no one can see anything that we're doing. So, if anyone else is watching, just let me know if you can see anything at all that's going on, because something is very, very wrong right now. And we have no clue what it might be. On my face, please. On my face, please. I have never had this problem whatsoever with any other stream we've had. Okay, did you get the thing? Can we just have one goddamn time? quit smoking meth. Your line's not busy! Your line isn't busy! No, it's not! Call. Finally. Okay.
Alright,
I
and I turned my phone to airplane mode.
got another solution. I'm going to set up, hopefully, virtual camera so you can actually see what's going on from my side through Telegram. So hopefully that works.
That worked. I
Okay.
can see.
Now we only have to wonder if the people on Twitch can see, which they probably will when they do VOD only. Okay, we finally got a solution that works at all for some unexplainable reason.
We can pretend there's a stream. Well, we'll
There won't be a stream later.
like chat is up. We have things going.
Yeah.
Stream is good. There's just it's gonna if for whatever reason chat can't see it.
Well, you'll just have to watch the stream afterwards, and I'll put it on, like, YouTube or something for you to watch later. So anyway,
You'll have to
let's,
watch stream afterwards.
does Beam want to have a nice little, tour around my little room here?
Sure.
So here we've got the 12 pack of cans of capitalism. Yes, it literally is called capitalism. No, are we put capitalism?
Capitalism.
Oh, motherfucker. Ooh, what's that?
Goes in the trash bin?
We don't have a trash bin!
It is definitely something with my internet and or Twitch. Because like if I try to go onto the phone, like the icon of Twitch says like it shows what I'm looking at now on Telegram essentially, but then when I go to click on the app, it goes into a black screen. So Twitch is having a heart attack. So something's having a heart attack. I don't think it has anything to do
with us,
with either of us, because outside of me resetting my computer, even that wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, little tour out the room so we can get an idea of what everything is in here. We got our stack of capitalism. This here is for DOS. Here we got a Windows 95 setup. Here's our background music. Here's our DOS games. We got tons of posters around here. So this is the Malaproto one where he's basically licking a light bulb. Brother, I require lampen.
Lampen.
And then we got the overly verbose beta, where it just gets worse and worse drawn. The whole victory over Elon Bay render I got that and edited. And we got Rose. Not sure if any of you have really seen Rose yet. You've probably seen more of her. That was intended to be a sticker I was going to put on over like anti-vax bullshit. That's just a stupid meme. Yeah, he posing like a gremlin. First concept art, but went in the in the sort of resolution that biggest screen could actually put down. This we don't really talk that much. It's just a dumb joke.
We're gonna be fair. You are a gremlin. Let's be real here.
Yes.
You are just you're just a 5'10" gremlin. So how tall are you?
I'm shorter than Marshall.
Okay, well then you're short as fuck. Okay.
I know. It's a problem when I have to get the stuff at the back of the top shelf. Sue me.
Okay, look. Okay, so my Walmart sucks major douchebag. So like they put their water or like the gallon of water on these really tall grates. So the metal grates are forehead level for me, and I'm 6 foot tall. And then these things are like 6 foot wide from the back wall, and there's always never water. It's down at a slant, so you would think that the water would slide forward, but it doesn't. So you legitimately have to do like James Bond level gymnastics to get up and get water at my fucking Walmart. It's absolutely fucking dumb. It's like, again, I'm 6 foot and I still struggle. God forbid you have to go in there. Luckily, because you're a short stack, you might be able to just walk underneath it. I have to get down, and I'm old.
Just the wrong height. Oh yeah, this game.
Just the wrong height in general.
This game is something special, let me tell you. I actually have a physical IRL copy of this game, and it's like the worst walking simulator ever. This is Game Boy Advance game, by the way. It's just that Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games are represented by these generic cartridges. Other stuff like that? Oh, yeah, NES and all that. And GameCube. GameCube doesn't really work because I don't have the horsepower on my PC to run that plus VR. SNES, Super Famicom for Super Famicom Wars, PlayStation 2, you know, N64. This is for the Game Boy Advance, and this is for the Game Boy Color, and this is what we're going to be playing today. We're going to be playing some Pokemon Crystal, for those of you watching at home. And yeah, this is running emulation. Like this. Yeah. Come on. Come on. What? I connected, you bastard. Oh, there you go. Wrong button. There we go. Alright. That's the B button, okay.
Do you want to record and stream your gameplay? No, NVIDIA. We tried you already. You failed. Get out of face.
Oh look, this is the big question. Are you a boy or are you a girl? I guess I selected boy by clicking the button. Will you check the clock ring? What time is it? Hey Google, what time is it?
Adventure time! Please forgive me.
You freaking nerd. Hey Google, can you repeat that? 24, okay. Sorry, you were saying?
It's 8:24 here. That lying son of a bitch. Fuck you, Cortana.
Well, I mean, we're in a different
We've never actually watched... we are not in different time zones. I'm in Mountain Standard Time. You're in a mountain, are you not?
No, I'm in Pacific. I'm from BC, not Alberta.
Guess you gotta go to the southwest of your country to get into my southwest. But we've never actually watched a episode of Adventure Time. Not once. We've never seen an entire full episode.
My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. Now Pokemon Prof. This world is inhabited by groundwater types. Creatures that we call
Wobbit.
Pokemon. It's a wooper, I think. People of Pokemon
No,
live together by supporting each
Copyright.
other and slavery. Some people play with Pokemon, some battle with them. But we don't know everything about Pokemon yet. There are so many mysteries to solve. That's why I study Pokemon every day. Now, what did you say your name was? New name?
Cheeseburger.
And are there even numbers available to... No, there are numbers. Yeah, I'm sad. I mean, there will only be like 3 letters left. Hey, are you ready? Get ready on Pokemon stories about to unfold. You'll face fun times and tough challenges. Not in this gen. This gen is easy as fuck. Unless you get to red. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits! Let's go! I'll be seeing you later, sighs Morph. And by the way, I'm just using the virtual controllers. They didn't turn on their PC, did they turn themselves on? Is there? No, there's not a potion. I remember in Gen 1
That can be
there's a
considered
potion
lewd
thing.
in some countries.
In your head.
Hey, you said Beta turned themselves on. Okay, that... they open to interpretation, and interpretation is key.
You said you wanted to do something for him. Oh, I almost forgot. Your Pokemon gear is back from the repair shop. Here you go.
Back from the repair shop? What the fuck did you do to it to need it to be repaired?
I have a Toughbook CF35, and it was also refurbished. But another thing, the funny thing is, back when this game was launched, the Pokegear was like super high tech and super ridiculous, but now it's just like, oh yeah, that's a thing that calls people on the phone. Well, yeah, the day of the week is instead.
Oh yeah,
It's Saturday, okay. I mean, it's not gonna matter because
Saturday?
the real-time clock isn't actually saved in NUVR for the daylight saving time now, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're in winter. I think we're in daylight saving time.
Yes, I know how to use the phone, thank you. I have a freaking built-in modem. And she tells me anyway! Yeah, sure. She used it convenient to have a cell phone in 2002! It's kind of funny, like...
To be fair, they had Skype back then.
2002? Probably barely, like, almost no one had cell phones at the time. Who is this lady?
Well, no, in the Pokemon anime, didn't they have the big screens where you could go to the Pokemon Center and stuff and make calls, and they had like face chat and shit?
All this super sci-fi stuff in like 2002, yeah, I think they did. I can't remember. I haven't seen the Pokemon movie in so fucking long. I'm gonna have to digitize a copy and watch it here with you sometime. Oh, and there's Douchebag.
Digitize.
There's Douchebag. What are you staring at? And he kicks me. Motherfucker, I will fucking wreck you.
What are you staring at? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Beta, there you are! I needed to ask you a favor! I'm conducting your Pokemon research right now! I was wondering if you could help me with it, Beta! You see, I'm writing a paper that I want to present at a conference, but there are some things I don't quite understand yet. So, I'd like you to raise a Pokemon that I recently got. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Beta! You're a great help! Right now, my findings, I'm sure will delve a bit deeper into the many mysteries of Pokemon. You can count on it.
When did Professor Oak become Goofy?
That's Professor Elm. All the Pokemon professors are
Oh.
goofballs. Aha! Okay. Hey, listen. I have an acquaintance called Mr. Pokemon. Why is his name Mr. Pokemon? I don't know. He keeps finding weird things and raving about his discoveries. Oh, you mean like Pokemon fuck each other and produce eggs? Anyway, I just got an email from him saying that this time it's real. It is intriguing, but we're busy with our Pokemon researching. Researching on Pokemon fuck. Wait! I know! Beta, can you go in our place? I want you to raise one of the Pokemon containing these balls! You'll be that Pokemon's first partner, Beta! Go on, pick one.
Goodness gracious.
Mouse and Quill is tempting. Is this... No.
You don't want the fire blanket?
Totodile's actually one of the best in this particular generation. This thing, though, is
Look,
complete trash.
This isn't about stats. This is about bangability. Totodile ain't pretty.
Have you seen the amount of porn on for Affinity at Totodile? Oh,
Not
let's
pretty, not fuckable.
Let's bring up, let's consider a nickname for this one. You got anything, clever or funny?
You picked the Totodile. Oh, look, okay, when it comes to Pokemon names... Yeah, when it comes to Pokemon names, we will get you banned from Twitch. Let's just put it that way. The nickname will be... Nickname. Did you name it Cyndaquil? Fucker.
Think about it, right? You can't really know what you're fighting if you don't know what you're fighting.
You don't know what you're fighting until you know exactly what you're fighting. Oh, God. What did you do to that poor thing? You're gonna give it such an identity crisis, you evil fucker.
I guess he has an entire Pokemon Center in his lab. Professor Oak didn't have that, I just had to sleep at home in Gen 1. Beta, I want you to have this for your errand. Oh yeah, that's the free potion. What even is a potion? Like, what exactly is contained in it? Like, it's some kind of weird panacea that only doesn't do status conditions?
No, it's PFM. That's what that's all it is. It's PFM. We can
It's
move on from there.
morphine. Pokemon morphine.
If only.
Don't overdose
Yeah,
on
the last
potions!
Pokemon Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Humans
The last
overdosing on
Pokemon game that I
potions.
played with... Can't, like, imagine that. You know, I would
Popping
really
potions.
want to see...
Whippets are a thing! Did I ever tell you about whippets?
I don't even know. I don't even know what a Whippet is.
So get this right.
And I think I'm older than you.
Some kid back in the 70s, he found out that if you stick a whipped cream can up your nose, then you hit the gas, and then you snort the gas, you get high for 5 seconds. So that became a thing people did in the 70s, so... Yeah. I can only imagine if potions were a thing, and if they were like some kind of painkiller or something, then people would be doing whippets of that shit in the Pokemon universe.
But you can do that with compressed gas these days. Like, you have to be older than 18 to buy compressed air.
Not here. That's this US thing.
Yeah, here you do.
I have a funny story. Like, there's a couple of Mormon missionaries that came to my place. Yeah, pray for me. But they talked about how
My father... look, my father was Mormon, okay? Bite me.
yes, no one cares about you. And then it's not long after I come and move your snoot. Wait, did I go to the wrong place? But yeah, basically they were talking about how you had to be 18 to get Sharpies and buy some certain compressed gases and spray paint and stuff. Like, you don't have that here. And our age majority, by the way, is 19 in Canada. And I was actually surprised when they said, "Hey, you have to be 18 for this." Well, I did go the right way. I'm just stupid. I haven't played Gen 2 in like so freaking long. I didn't even beat Gen 2, so we're gonna have to rectify that shit. Okay, yeah, this is the right way. I'm just dumb.
I've never beaten a Pokemon game.
The first video game I ever beat was Pokemon Emerald. And that's also why I love Theta Emerald so much, which is a ROM hack of that.
The first game I ever beat was Halo CE. My mom didn't want me to watch Pokemon because it was too violent.
Two Blackness, yeah, sure. Ooh, a Poliwag. I don't have any Pokeballs, but I have water type anyways, so important, but regardless. Yeah, cause your parents your dad was Mormon, right? Did you ever get any of the Pokemon is satanic bullshit?
No. So at the time of Pokemon coming out, or, well, we were old enough to understand what Pokemon was. I think my mom was Mormon as well. So my dad was Mormon, my brother's dad was Mormon. After that, she reached the age of reason. Then she went to school. But yeah, for I think the first 8 years of my life, a majority of my family was Mormon. I don't think I ever was, because I never liked going to church, and I never believed what they said. This is where my brain comes into contact with oxygen. But yeah, I never believed anything of what they said, so I don't think I ever, believed in any of that, but yeah, for a majority of my childhood...
Did they ever talk about
was
Pokemon
Mormon.
being satanic or anything, or were they a little bit more reasonable than your typical off-the-street evangelist?
No, what my mom wanted me to understand is the fact that you were enslaving a living creature and you were forcing it to battle, and you needed to understand the consequences of what you were actually doing with it. Like, she had legitimate reasons to think Pokemon was a hell of a lot more violent than Halo.
I guess
So,
it kinda
she
does
had
make
legitimate
sense.
reasons.
I mean, yeah, it does make sense. I mean, Pokemon is more just a JRPG in general, and you will have to battle as a party, in fact. But the thing is, the Pokemon Generation 1 that you got was actually a lot better than the Pokemon Gen 1 that was planned. You actually had to train them to do what you wanted, and that involved what we consider abuse. And in fact, in a lot of the Red and Blue sprites, you could actually see, in fact, the main trainer was supposed to carry a whip around. Like, Red was supposed to carry a whip in Gen 1. But that sprite got changed early in development after they changed it from capsule monsters to Pokemon. So it's a lot better than it could have been, but yeah, there are still... If you think about it more deeply, there are other things that you gotta... yeah. Well, look! Douchebag did a thing! Okay, let's go wreck Douchebag. I mean, he's gonna have a shit rated. I mean, sucks for him. Ooh, item! Yay! I got an antidote. I'm probably gonna sell later on and replace it with full heal. Like, sure, antidotes and stuff are great for the early game, but once you get access to regular full heals, then you can just sell all these things, because they're not important anymore. Full heals will do everything. And Douchebag! You're a Pokemon lad. What a waste to wimp like you! Don't you get what I'm saying? Well, I too have a good Pokemon. I'll show you what I mean! More cringe enemy talk! Fun fact, this character is also like Giovanni's relative of some description, from what I hear. I think only Heart Gold and Soul Silver made that a thing, though.
Honestly, that's just too much of a mind fuck. Because then, he would have to be really... Isn't he related to Professor Oak? Isn't your rival, Professor Oak's, son or something like that?
No, that's Gen 1. This is Gen 2.
That's Gen 1?
Yeah, Gary is Professor Oak's son. Giovanni is the boss of Team Rocket, and also you get Gym Leader in Gen 1. Here, Team Rocket comes back.
Yeah, I know, he's...
Yay, Barry!
I watched J. Rose.
Omae wa Moshinderu! Oh god,
That was terrible. That was awful. Why would you do this to me?
Rage in Gen 1 was like the worst move ever. You were locked into it, and it sucked. My name's question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm gonna give you... You just kicked me. Again. You bastard. I'm gonna stick a bunch of fire ants in this douchebag's bed.
You know, I never understood the need for a rival. In all honesty, I get
Like in modern Pokemon,
I get that. Well, that not just that, but he didn't really like. If you really thought about it, Ash never really had a rival.
Yeah,
like-
like you should have a
Like he
competent
made
rival. Like if he's not competent and
Well,
relatively
one that's
equal
just-
to you in power, then it's just not he's not a rival to you, narratively speaking. Like I get that you have to have someone who tries to kink you into trying to do better in the game and all of that stuff, but yeah, the new friendly rivals, they aren't really rivals, they're just some guy that you fight sometimes for no reason at all.
No, they adopted the new modern anime take of a rival, of like best friends just trying to one up each other, which is the new anime thing to do for whatever reason. Like, My Hero Academia did it a little bit better than most.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story
Bring
short,
back this guy,
Yeah.
because this guy's actually an ass.
you
And you
can't.
actually want to take him down. You
Well-
want to knock him down the peg.
Well, not only that, but like in this particular game, the whole point is to be a Pokemon master. There really isn't a need for a rival, which is probably why they got rid of this dude being a douchebag to you. Which is probably why they got rid of it, because people want to be a Pokemon champion or Pokemon master, or whatever the fuck that you want to call it. So they already have a goal to quote unquote beat the game. They don't need a rival to push them up higher, because they already have their sights set super high, which
I
makes
mean-
sense as to why they wouldn't want that, or
There is
a
Red,
rival.
the
You
secret
just
final
don't
boss
need a
as well,
type of
too.
rival.
But you don't need like a calm, just general best friend rival. Like if you're gonna do a rival, this guy is the guy you're gonna want to do, and that's why I named it Douche. Okay, so Douche was his name. Yeah, just
Goodness
say he's a
gracious.
douchebag, and the Blizzard's like, okay. I'm sorry, but that's just fucking hilarious. Sorry. Sorry,
But,
I
like-
interrupted you.
Well, in the modern games, apparently they want to be rivals. They want to be rivals, and you cannot proceed with the game until you say yes. Like, hey, you want to be rivals? You click no, and it's like, are you sure you don't want to be rivals? And it just does this fucking loop, apparently. And people are like, this is fucking dumb. Why would you even give me this option if you're gonna deny me the fact that I have this option to choose?
Yeah, that's fucking dumb. Like, as far as I'm concerned, after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Pokemon just stopped. That's how I feel about the series now. I mean,
Honestly,
Ultra
it was
Moon's and
after Black and White for me.
yeah. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I mean, the story was a bit fucking weird with, like, alternate dimensions and this one jellyfish worshipping wackadoo who's like, oh yes, we're taking care of Pokemon! Secretly the actual, literal evil team. Like, Team Skull is just fucking hilarious to me. Like, they're just a bunch of punks who just talk like rappers from a 2000s gangster rap thing, and they, like, their animations are confused as shit, and Guzma lives in a mansion that's, like, ripped into fucking pieces. Like, Team Skull is just funny to me. And they're like
At
the
least,
main
like,
villains.
early 2000s and 90s rap was actual rap. Cough, cough.
To be fair, I'm not really into rap anyway. I'm much more into Witchfinder General. And I'm still pissed off that my LP from Witchfinder General was pressed so badly. Like, it was a bad pressing. At least I have an Ozzy tape. Ozzy is, like, fucking amazing. Like, he's just pure chaos and I love him. So, get this. Ozzy Osbourne, he was doing something, I think it was, he was doing some kind of a concert, and there's this Christian march against him, and what did he do? He joined the march against them. Like, this guy is just pure fucking chaos.
Is Ozzy Osbourne even alive anymore?
Yes. His last album, last I remember, was in 2011, too. He might have done something new after that, but he's still around. He's been pickled by all of the drugs.
It's been 12 years.
He's still around. I'm not joking. I mean, he could barely function as a person anymore, but he's still a thing. That's shocking.
Didn't some famous guitarist die recently, like within the last year or so? It's from Pink Floyd? Maybe it was from ZZ Top. I don't know, it was like big. But I can't remember.
Oh no, I stumbled on bird Twitter.
And Twatter.
They won't leave me alone. The bird site. I showed them that
The
video.
bird site is cancer. I don't know why I used the bird site.
Yeah, it's definitely a brain tumor for me, but you know, it's fun to make fun of everything that's going wrong with society, and it's fun to just make fun of the iceberg as the Titanic crashes into it.
There was actually, because I got really into these, and I'm really not sure why I got into these, but there's actually a cruise ship. Well, I guess it was more of a ferry. But it basically did what the Titanic did.
Again? And did it suffer the same
And
thing?
like it was, yeah. Except, yeah, it's gone. It's sunk. But here's the thing: is it hit a rock? It hit a big fucking rock jutting out of the ocean that they had like lights and sirens and flags all over, and the captain was just like, yeah, here's the autopilot, let's go. The thing is the autopilot was literally just, hey, by the way, you're getting a little off course. And so the storm currents, of course, pushed it into the rock, and they were like, well, fuck.
Okay, let's look at the book here, see where the fuck I'm supposed to go. No. I don't even have the map, do I?
Yeah, I got really into documentaries on like ships sinking, and I really like it when they use the actual recorded audio from the ships, like the Scandies Rose. That one was watching the documentary on that one, and it's an independent documentary. Like, it's one guy that goes into all their like NTSBs, the Coast Guard things, like all the recordings and all that stuff. Like, he goes in, he gets all the audio, he gets all the documentation, and he goes through it as sort of like, hey, this is what happened, this is what the NTSB found out, and this is basically like in as best as a human can do, like what is it called?
Forensics?
No, like objective, like an objective point of view, like you know, how the captain could have done better, or how he did everything he could, and things like that. Like he doesn't blame any one person and all that jazz, which a lot of people do. There was actually an air show crash in Austin a couple months ago? It was about 6 months ago, where a terribly sorry if I'm getting really quiet again. I really don't know where my mic is. But there was an air show crash where a World War II fighter plane crashed into a B-17 Flying Fortress.
Oh yeah.
All hands got lost,
I remember
and
that.
everybody was like, "Oh man!" Yeah, everybody immediately blamed the little pilot, the fighter pilot. They're like, "How could they have not seen that? How could they have not done this? Oh man, that was completely on purpose." And they absolutely tore that fighter, the pilot apart on that. And obviously, it was not the pilot's fault. Like, no holds barred. The command structure was completely just non-existent. They didn't go over the flight plans at all, and there were multiple changes before that flight actually took place, and it just ended up being like the B-17 to the fighter pilot was supposed to be somewhere completely different, and the B-17 pilots and crew thought that the fighter pilot was going to be in a different place, and it was just a complete and utter fiasco. Like, there was a whole bunch of little things that led up to it, and it's just people just love to jump and blame
TLDR,
people just like
communication is key.
instantaneously.
Communication is
TLDR.
key.
Most definitely, but yeah, a lot of people like when the Scandies Rose went down, a lot of people wanted to blame the captain for not doing what he normally should, despite all previous history of the captain being one of the most safety conscious captains out there. Like, made his crew completely memorize where the lifeboats were, where all of the what are those suits called? Like the life suits, the big orange life suits. Basically everything where the fastest way to get off the ship, the best way to call out for safety or call out for help and things like that. Like, he made them run drills until it was drilled into their mind before he left dock. But of course they blamed him because, he was the captain. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting how quick people are to judge.
Yeah, especially if they don't know anything about the situation or, the industry in general.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I'm just crying because... Ooh, I almost one-shot this one.
Why are you the way that you are? Oh, God.
Yeah, it's one thing that I see a lot of the time, like people who don't work in a certain industry, they just act like they know everything even though they know literally nothing about it. Like, you see people constantly telling others how to do their job when they've never even seen that job in their entire life. Like, it's a frequent thing you see with regular people.
I know. I'm fully aware of that. I suffer from that on the daily.
Yeah. And you work in automotive still, right?
Yeah.
Oh god damn, 3 steps and another fucking encounter. Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's like, I probably handle... Now, I know this isn't going to sound like a lot, but I handle close to 100 calls a day. Which, again, throughout a 10-hour day, that's about... God, probably 10 calls an hour. Which, again, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I could cut that in half if people actually understood what was going... Not just what was going on with their car, but the fact if they were just patient. If they would just wait.
I need it now!
Or they would check their voicemail.
Now!
Or... You have no idea, dude. You have no idea. Okay, let me just put this as an example. This person comes in with engine rod knock and all that stuff. And... Which is a very common thing for Hyundai. Thank you, Hyundai. You're a piece of shit. God, the amount of people that... Oh my god, just... Hyundai, please. You own South Korea. You make multi-billion-dollar cargo ships. You make multi-billion-dollar cranes. You make shipping containers. You make shipping trailers. You make a whole bunch of shit, and you can't even make a car that will not catch on fire every 5 seconds. Fucking. Now, I was under the impression before I went to work at Hyundai, I was under the impression that if you took care of your vehicle, you did the oil changes, you did all the maintenance, you did everything, that engine would last forever. Hyundai proved me wrong. Like that. Yes, everybody, even if you take care of your Hyundai, it will blow up on you. So, let me just be perfectly clear. Most of Hyundai's motors are 4-bangers, and they hold about 5 quarts of oil. Hyundai recommends the oil get changed every 5,000 miles on their older vehicles. 2019 and older, it's 5,000 miles. Hyundai, at the same time, says burning a quart of oil every 1,000 miles is within spec.
burning more oil than 491 would have. Well, 491 doesn't burn oil, she burns coal, but still. Fossil fuels. Like, seriously,
Yep.
burning more oil than oil burning locomotive would. That's totally the spec. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not literally more, but
Yep.
still. It's a
And
lot.
so your vehicle has to burn more than a quart of oil every 1,000 miles for it to be considered a bad engine. When in 2019 and 2020, when the Hyundai Kona first came out, Hyundai designed the valve cover so poorly that it would not return the oil back into the crankcase. And we literally had hundreds of brand new Konas, 4,000 miles on it, come in with blown engines because Hyundai sucks so fucking bad. And people will call my dealership. Well, the dealership that I work at, it's not mine. If it was mine, I would be in a much better place. But
Very much
people
better.
will call the dealership and say these exact words. I shit you not. I paid $40,000 for my vehicle. This shouldn't be happening. I paid $80,000 for my vehicle. This shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't have to deal with this. You guys should be doing all of this stuff. I'm like, oh, fantastic. I absolutely appreciate the fact that you spent more money than I've made my entire career of working on one particular vehicle. It must be fucking nice. But at the same time, I didn't tie you to a chair and force you to write that contract. You came over to our dealership. You saw that piece of shit. You bought that piece of shit. Now you have to deal with that piece of shit. Deal with it.
Also, another thing you
You
kind
want a
of worry
BMW?
about is whether or not you're being whether or not people are transparent with the vehicles. Like, you're totally transparent about what you think about the vehicles, but I'm sure some of the dealers probably aren't. Some of your coworkers are probably really not transparent with the.
Oh, are you
actual
kidding?
what their vehicles are.
Well, we'll bend over backwards and suck your dick as long as you get the car, because as soon as you get the car, we don't care. At least our salesmen don't. We have like 40 salesmen, by the way. It's
they're all
a
pieces
small
of shit.
dealership, but it's not a small dealership. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'll sell about 400 cars a month. Even during COVID. In fact, we broke records with how many cars we sold. We sold more, despite our dinky little dealership. We have like 30, no, we don't even have 30 lifts. I think we have 25 vehicle lifts right now in our shop. That's how small we are. In comparison, Toyota has about 60, and they're right next door to us. And at one point, we sold over 500 cars in 1 month.
500 cars. Jeez.
Like, in a month. That is almost 2 a day. That is unheard of. People want the cheapest thing, and they want it done perfectly. That's not happening. And the funny thing is it's not just a Hyundai problem thing either. Ford has issues, Chevy has issues, Dodge has issues. Ford and Chevy have so much issues, they can't even find people to build their transmissions. Whoa, did I say Ford and Chevy? I meant Ford and Dodge. They can't even find people to build their transmissions. We've literally, people have bought a Ford from us, and people have bought a Dodge from us, or I should say Jeep from us. And the transmissions have gone out. And this customer is now without a car because we cannot get a transmission from Ford or Dodge because people will not build their transmissions. It's just
another
nothing
thing
we
as
can
well,
do.
like, I heard another thing as well that might be interesting. So I heard that the pandemic had a bunch of cars that couldn't be sold because there was like some chip that wasn't available and all the cars needed these days. Was that a thing, or?
Yes, that was a legitimate thing. There was a point in our car lot that we only had about 15 cars on our lot.
And
Before that chip shortage, we had about 1,500 to 2,000. And we are just now recovering from that chip shortage.
Oh, I got super effective it. Good thing I'm buried.
But yeah, even though even though we're recovering from that shortage, we still have cars that we only sold with one key because we didn't have the chip, or Hyundai didn't have the chips to actually give them 2 keys. So now this person's legitimately fucked if they lose their key because we can't replace that key either. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard something about.
But
how
the
there were,
amount
like,
of people.
thousands of these cars that were just not able to be sold, and they were just sitting in lots somewhere because he couldn't sell them because they didn't have cars. They didn't have keys in them. That's what I heard, at least. It's good to see that wasn't complete bullshit. Well, I mean, not good to see, but
Yeah,
it's
for
not, I guess.
a majority of Fords, a majority of their trucks, at one point actually needed to take up the football stadium parking lot because there were so many without ECUs and without keys and without anything to run them. They got shipped from the factory without these precious things, and they just sat there. And God, there's actually one, right? There was actually, Hyundai has their, so Hyundai and Kia are the same company, by the way. Kia and Hyundai are the same corporation, and Genesis is also part of Kia. It's like Toyota and Lexus. Genesis is our luxury brand. And so when we actually had a lot of these vehicles, and we actually had that 1,500 to 2,000 inventory, we had a G70 in our parking lot, in our aux lot, our auxiliary lot. God, this is about to blow your mind. So people stole the rims off of this G70. They put it on the milk crates. Of course, this being a luxury sports car, it weighed an absolute fuck ton, and so it broke through the milk crates and slammed down on its rotors and underbody. And instead of doing an insurance claim on the vehicle, it was cheaper to buy the vehicle outright and throw a cheap set of rims and rotors on it, and then just use it as a rental car.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a $70,000 car got turned into a rental car because someone took the rims off of it.
There's lots of dumb dealership rules and practices. Oh, I accidentally did the nickname. Sorry, you got any real horse for us working the dealership, or any nickname for the flower?
No nickname for the flower, but there are a lot of horrors I have a lot of horror stories about working at the dealership. I also have a lot of horror stories that are true. That TikTok meme about people stealing Kias and Hyundais, that is legit. You can legitimately get into a car with a screwdriver and start the car with a USB in your phone and drive off.
Wow.
And so yeah, that is a legitimate thing. And it's not a recall, by the way. It is not a recall or a manufacturer defect, because at the time of the vehicle selling, those cars met the federal standards for vehicle safety and anti-theft. Yeah.
Also, what, 99% of cars are key-to-like, if I remember right. Like, almost every single car of the same model is, like, key-to-like. Like, all police cars in the US, by the way, are key-to-like. And there's no chip on them. They're just a key that you can buy off Amazon.
That, with our Hyundais, they are different keys. They are, in fact, different keys. You're not gonna, like, come across every 10th key and it'll open up a car. Our car keys are keyed differently. It's just the fact that our physical keys, our turn keys, don't have any immobilizers in them, but our upper-end cars, at least back in the day, that were push-button, those did have an immobilizer, so you can't steal those cars with a screwdriver and a phone and a USB cord. And a lot of people got upset, obviously, when they figured that out. And Hyundai was like, yeah, we'll offer you a kit for about $1,000. If you want to install it in your car, we'll offer an immobilizer kit, sure. But we're not going to pay for it. There was one guy, which a lot of people don't seem to understand. So Kia and Hyundai have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the engine, the drivetrain. This also includes motor mounts and some other things. in the engine bay, but they have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on their vehicles for the first owner only. Every subsequent owner after that has a 5-year, 60,000-mile from the original purchase date of the vehicle. So if the vehicle is 5 years old and you purchase it, you don't suddenly get another 5 years, 60,000 miles. If the car has over 60,000 miles and you purchase it secondhand, you're fucked. The car doesn't have any warranty on it. Which, I mean, it's still better than Ford, especially Ford in all the other manufacturers, which I think is only about 3 years, 36,000 miles. But still, I digress. This one customer got so fucking upset at the fact that we would not offer him that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty because he was like the 4th or 5th owner of this car that he almost ran over one of our service advisors. Like, he legitimately hit one of our service advisors with his car.
Sorry to hear shit like that.
People are just...
Yeah.
They're just insane. I don't understand the frustration that people have. Like this one guy got upset because his car had 165,000 miles and it blew up. It was like a 2013, and he gets upset. He's like, "Well, I thought these things had unlimited miles because there are some Hyundais with the Theta 2 engine, one of the worst engines ever designed, which Hyundai then proceeded to put in every single make and model of their vehicle for over a decade. By the way." Anyway, yeah, we're talking about like millions of cars. It's such a piece of shit fucking motor. Anyway, he got upset when he learned that Hyundai had only extended the Theta 2's engine warranty to 150,000 miles or 15 years of owning the vehicle, or 15 years of the vehicle's original purchase date. He had 165,000 miles, so obviously it was outside of warranty. And he was upset that his Theta 2 wasn't covered like the other Theta 2 and the Sonata, despite them being the same engine. And I can understand that, but he's like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I'm not Hyundai. Stop yelling at me. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is there is a major disconnect between the dealership... No, not even that. The dealership is not Hyundai. Despite us owning, despite us selling Hyundai, despite us selling Genesis, despite us being their franchise, we have nothing to do with the car's manufacturer. Technically, the car's maintenance either. If you bring it to us, fantastic. We'll do the maintenance you want us to do on it. But if Hyundai makes a mistake, there's nothing we can do until Hyundai says that we can do something about it.
Oh god,
and that's what a lot of people don't
decided
understand.
to fuck around. Okay, I'm gonna have to wait until CBR
And find out.
Yeah, CBR is just being stupid right now. And I walked into the Sprout Tower when I should have. Hey,
But,
CBR, what the fuck's going on?
Probably.
Okay, let's bring up Taskmaster, see what the fuck's going on. Okay, now it's working again. I think. What's saying it's crashed.
Possibly.
Oh, we're back. Okay, I think. That's it. Okay, so you were saying, for Oculus crashed on me for no goddamn reason while my head was fucking still. Oh, did I just lose all of that progress?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh my god, seriously. I just lost all of the progress.
I think if you...
were talking. No, I didn't save.
Oh, can you actually save?
I lost all of that. Yes, I can save, and I didn't.
Oh.
Motherfucker.
You lost an hour.
Yes, because my headset decided to smoke math.
That's rough, buddy.
I'm going to save after every important thing now.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Sorry everyone, we're back at square one because my fucking headset is a piece of trash.
They'll
Anyway,
be fine. They'll
sorry,
understand.
you were saying about the dealership, right?
It's bad. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Opinions on Teslas.
God,
Do you have an opinion on Tesla?
I do, unfortunately, and it is not positive.
I want to hear the noodle
See-
rant about that.
Well, electric vehicles is
You're
than your
breaking up.
than 10 of your average. Oh, sorry. You still there?
Yeah, you're still there. You were breaking up though.
Still kind of there. A little bit
A little
better,
bit, yeah.
maybe.
Slightly.
What a lot of people don't understand is there are extreme there when it comes to exotic materials in an electric car. For the exotic materials in the electric car versus your average internal combustion engine, it is absolutely astonishing. In fact, there are it put there the God, sorry, my brain just it's fried when you think about this. The amount of emissions put into the air just digging for the aluminum is so much greater than your average internal combustion car. It's not even funny. Like, we're talking decades worth of pollution for like 100 of the electric cars, and then God forbid you actually want to charge the electric car, which right now a majority of the world is still burning fossil fuels for their electricity generation. If we were on nuclear power, yeah, it would be slightly better because a lot of mining equipment is electric. Like, these absolutely massive diggers are all electric, which is fantastic. Again, until you learn that we're burning coal and fossil fuels and all these other fucking shitty things for the environment to run those things. So if we actually had a power grid and power generation that was less environmentally deadly, yes, electric cars would by far, without a doubt, be significantly better than your average internal combustion engine. But with all, and if we didn't have all of the safety regulations that we have for vehicles, by the way, only 1% of drivers in the United States out of 250 million, only 1% of drivers die in car accidents every year in America. Despite how shitty everything is in America, only 1%. That is phenomenal. And a vast majority of the people don't have these new federally mandated safety systems. They don't have forward warning collision. They don't have radar cruise control. They don't have blind spot detection system. A vast majority of these people just don't have all of these mandatory things. And you'd get so much more life out of your electric vehicle. You could get thousands of miles out of your electric vehicle if it wasn't running an infotainment system. It wasn't running headlights. It wasn't running radar. It wasn't running cameras. It wasn't driving itself. You could get hundreds, if not thousands of miles out of your electric vehicle if it was just meant to run the motor. It would be astonishing how far you could get on an electric vehicle. But instead, you can barely get 250 miles out of these insanely expensive cars that are incredibly dangerous to drive. They're hilariously dangerous, and when it comes to Teslas, I guess I should say, because of their auto driving, it's insane. It's ridiculous.
Self-driving is
And
non-existent.
exactly. And even the transportation tunnels that they have in places like Vegas and stuff, the amount of effort and people
They go like 2
required to
miles
run
an hour.
even that basic system. Yeah, that too. To run that basic system, to run that many electric cars, to run all of that. It is so bad for the environment. And people hound me like, oh man, this must be run, this sounds like it was coming from XCOM or whatever that fucking oil company is. And I'm like, no, this is legitimate. We do not have the power grid and we do not have the power generation to support these electric vehicles. In California, one of our most heavily populated, dense states, is mandating electric vehicles in their state. It is going to absolutely ruin and destroy the environment. Now, I want to put this just into perspective real quick. Back in 1940, in like 1912 to like 1940, so these cars would be like 8 liters, 10 liters. They would burn oil like a motherfucker and just be the most obnoxious
And you check the oil
gas
dropping on the
guzzling,
ground.
oil consuming. Yeah, exactly. that they would produce like 200 or 300 horsepower. They were the most dog shit fucking engines on the planet. Now you can be running 10 or 15 vehicles in the shop. Like if you went out into my dealership shop and they were running 10 or 15 vehicles, you could breathe freely in that garage. The one 1965 Chevrolet fucking Corvair that my GM owns, you run that for 30 seconds and you can't breathe in that shop. So much technology and so much innovation has come in to getting rid of these emissions. It is insane. And we're still able to produce these engines with insane horsepower numbers. We're still getting 250, 300 horsepower out of 2 liters, out of 1.5 liters, out of these absolutely minuscule engines. Some of our modern car engines are only slightly bigger than a motorcycle engine. That is how small these engines are, and how powerful they are, and how emissions-free, essentially. Exactly. Your modern aluminum block for an engine is only about 150 to 200 pounds. It is ridiculously light. And again, you're able to produce these absolutely insane horsepower numbers. Like my friend's Subaru, STI Subaru is a 4-banger. It's a turbo. It's uncorked, so it actually doesn't have a cat or anything like that, but you didn't hear this from me. It makes 650 horsepower. Like, without an issue. It will stomp like most supercars out on the highway. It's an absolute beast. But it's a 4-banger. It's a 2.5 liter motor, making 650 horsepower. That is astonishing. That is a quarter of the horsepower that a P-51 Mustang had in World War II. Those things had like 2,500 horsepower, and they were like 28 liter, 30 liter motors that were just weighed thousands upon thousands of pounds. And we can make a quarter of that. In fact, a lot of like Top Fuel dragster motors, those things are only like 6 or 7 liters, and they're producing 10,000 horsepower. It is, again, astonishing the amount of technology we've thrown into the internal combustion engine in just from 1970, which is when emissions actually became available, because Chrysler, thank you Chrysler, actually made a car aerodynamically stable under like 200 mile an hour winds. So they, raced jet planes down the fucking takeoff down the runway to measure the amount of emissions that these things were burning. So it is all Chrysler's fault that we have emissions regulation these days, but it's also kind of a good thing. But anyway, long story short, fuck you, Chrysler. But essentially in the last, 70 years, we have come so far that even from 1990 to now, we are down to like 1 or 2% of the emissions coming out of the vehicle that we were, again, even back in 1990. Like, we're down so far. The graph in the last 20 years has shrunk so much with the emissions that our cars are producing. It is astonishing. And people still want more regulations on them. And it doesn't make any sense to me, because all of the regulations that you put on the automotive industry, it just goes into loosening up the fucking power generation. All the oil companies are able to burn more to continue destroying the environment. There are no regulations put on the oil fields. There are no regulations put on the power generation, because people want their internet, people want their running water, people want their lights. They want so much shit, and it's all run on fossil fuels. And it's like, if you just had nuclear, or you just had fission, like if you just invested in just the teeniest, tiniest of power generation outside of fossil fuels, it's just astonishing. But anyway, like, Tesla's probably one of the worst auto manufacturers I've ever seen. Now, let's get back to that. Let's get back on that track.
Their DRM is like fucking ridiculous. And the cars are badly built.
Really. The cars are badly built. You spend $100,000 and you get what? You get nothing. You really don't get anything. Like, our Hyundai's Ioniq 5, which is a fully electric vehicle, which is $45,000 to $50,000 for the base model, it is still astonishingly expensive for this piece of shit. But it is 110 times better than the Tesla. And that's saying something, considering I just threw Hyundai under the bus just now, like maybe less than an hour ago. I threw Hyundai under the bus, called them one of the worst manufacturers on the planet. But even their Ioniq 5 is better. And our trucks, which by the way, Genesis also wants to be fully electric by 2025. Our high-end, Genesis, despite being Hyundai, produces some astonishing motors. You know, like, I think our 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo produces like 550 fucking foot-pounds of torque. It is astonishing. It's a beast. And it's incredibly reliable too. But again, anyway, getting a little off track. The Ioniq 5 is far more comparable to a Tesla, and I think the Revan, I think that's a truck. It's a fully electric truck. That compared to the Cybertruck,
That fucking
I just,
yeah. Their electric semis are
I don't understand.
Their electric semis are worse than regular semis
I-
in every conceivable way, and yet they're supposed to be full self-driving. They're supposed to outpull regular trucks, even though they like pull like a quarter of what a normal truck does for like a quarter of the distance.
Well, that's the thing, is even if our modern internal combustion diesel semi-trucks are completely and utterly able to pull more than 80,000 pounds, but 80,000 pounds is the limit, is the federal legal limit that our roads can sustain here in America, 80,000 pounds. Tesla claims that it can pull more, but again, our roads can't handle more, so it doesn't even matter if they claim that it can pull more. 80,000 pounds is the limit.
I mean, they claim it, but it's not actually
again,
true in the first place.
And not even that, you also have to remember, unless you get solid state charging for electric batteries, you will never in an electric car have the convenience of an internal combustion engine. Ever. It takes 10 minutes to fill up your car at the gas pump right now. 10 minutes max. It takes hours, even at the fastest charging station you can do, to fully recharge and have that full 300-mile tank again. You legitimately have to, like, sit there. You gotta go to a movie. You gotta go eat out. You gotta go do something while you wait for that vehicle to charge up. You can't just sit in the car and wait. You just can't. So until, like, that technology also improves, they're also not going to be that practical. Because by, like, just think about it. If every single car that we drive in America was electric, every single person at work, the 300 employees that my little dealership has, that would be 300 cars plugged into our power grid system, recharging all day so that they could drive home in stop-and-go traffic. Like, it's more economical to buy a motorcycle, and I'm not even bullshitting you. Like, again, the amount of unexotic technology that goes into internal combustion engines, especially motorcycles. Like, even motorcycles now are getting radar cruise control. Yes, it's getting that bad. However, the cheaper, more budget-friendly motorcycles are still all manual. You still got to pay attention. You still got to do everything. And it's just aluminum and steel that can be recycled infinitely. That's amazing. It's fantastic. A motorcycle built in the 70s can be recycled to build a motorcycle now. You can take all of that aluminum and put it back into another motorcycle. There's absolutely no problem with that. You can't do that with an electric car. You can't recycle circuit breakers. You can't recycle silicone circuit boards. You can't. And if you can, it's a ridiculously expensive process to do so. It's not cheap. But you can burn down aluminum in your backyard. Like, no one's gonna have the technology to recycle a circuit board. I know a guy, and I can post videos of a guy who legitimately took two motorcycle engines, sawed them in half with a hacksaw, welded them together to make a V12, and it run flawlessly in his backyard.
There's
You
also
can't
these
do
people
that
who-
with an electric car.
There's also these people in Russia who took like 3 Lada engines and bolted them together, and it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah, Garage 54.
Mhm.
But the thing is the reason that they all work perfectly fine is because
They're mechanical.
essentially you got the crankshaft in the middle of the car, or in the middle of the engine, and that has 2 external rotating things that you can then connect to an infinite amount. As long as you can get all the cylinders firing when they're supposed to, you can literally just connect them indefinitely, and they would run perfectly fine. Just getting a computer management system to actually do that, or a carburetor or toilet bowl to actually run those, that's the issue with that. Like, it's a pain in the butt to get that running. There are even model there are many model car engines. Like, you can buy a fully functional V8 that you can hold in your hands and it'll run, and it'll produce like 5 or 6 horsepower. And it's fantastic. It's this really, really neat thing that you can do, and it's just like, I don't know, you even in the RC model world, like, yeah, you have electric motors and all this stuff, and it's one of those things where you're not going to see the recycling process of these electric cars be done in any meaningful thing. Like, yeah, you can melt down the husk of the electric car, but like the actual internals and stuff in the vehicle, like the lithium battery, it's ridiculous. You can't. It's a pain in the ass to recycle that. It's just such a rare and exotic material that you're always going to have some loss of material with it, because aluminum catches fire. Like, you can't just melt it down and put it back into the thing. Unlike with a lead acid battery, you can melt down the lead again, reform it, and put it in more acid, and it will function just fine. Like, it's just these things that a lot of people just don't understand when they talk. What is it? Donning-Kruger effect? They have
Something like that.
no idea what they're talking about.
On
And
the topic of
the
recycled
people that
materials,
just dick suck Elon. Mhm.
yeah, that too. But a fun, kind of off topic, but on the general topic of recycled materials, the most recycled material on Earth is actually asphalt. Because you can just heat it up, and then relay it, and then it's good to go. It's cheap, it's
Mhm.
really easy to recycle, and it's the most recycled material on Earth.
Yep, and even the rubber that, at least at my dealership, when we take tires off cars that you can no longer use, a company comes, picks up the tires, they melt down the tire, they take the steel out, they melt down the steel and resell the steel, then they use the rubber in the tires to fill in the cracks on the asphalt. And then all of that is just recycled every single time. It's flawless. It's amazing when it comes to the environment for that particular thing. It's amazing to do that. Like, again, you're just not going to see that with any of these modern cars. You know, you're not going to see a modern car in 20 years sitting on the side of the road or in a barn and just be able to plug a battery into it and just start right up. You're never going to be able to do that with any electric car. It has a lifespan that even in Tesla, a Tesla only has a 3 or 4 year model, or a 3 or 4 year lifespan for its battery, and then you got to spend $25,000 to replace that battery because it's not under any sort of warranty. You have to purchase a brand new vehicle every couple of years, even with a Tesla or with any electric car, really, to replace these batteries. And it's just nothing you can do about it because these batteries are all made of these super exotic materials. And there's just nothing you can do about it. It's incredibly terrible for the environment. And, like, again, if you could run it on fusion, like, there are some aircraft right now that are currently running on hydrogen. Like, we have the technology to make an internal combustion engine that is reliable and self-sufficient on hydrogen. Was it hydrogen? It was some form of, basically, when it burned, it created water.
Yeah, that's hydrogen. and also another thing that we have to worry about is, like, society is built in a way that we buy a shiny new thing and throw it away 3 years later. Like, that's how our society is built up, and that's not okay. It's not sustainable, it's not rational. That's the society we live in, and that also informs some of the things we build and some of the technologies we pursue, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I definitely agree with that. But like that like I don't know about you, but I still have every single phone that I've ever bought. Like I have like some of these phones are like 6 or 7 years old. They're useless now, but I still have them. Like I personally didn't throw them out, but I can't really recycle anything in there. Except for the aluminum metal casing on one of my other on my first phone. I can recycle that because it's aluminum. But like the circuit boards and the LCD stuff, and it's like, how am I supposed to recycle that? Like when you have a dead pixel on your screen, you don't replace the pixel, you replace the entire screen. It's
wasteful.
It's just so wasteful.
Also, kind of a funny thing, I actually still have the exact same phone that I bought in 2018, and I still use it. It sometimes acts a little bit stupid, but I can still use that. Like, you don't need to get a new phone every, like, 2 or 3 years. You can run just fine on a full phone that's older, but it's always, oh, I need the new iPhone, I need the new iPhone, I need this shiny new thing. Like, that's a societal problem as well.
And I would say, like, maybe it's just because you and I are poor. I don't know if you're poor,
well,
but I'm poor.
That too, but, you know, it's just a general, you don't need to buy a new phone every couple of years thing. It's a societal thing. Like,
well, that's the thing is, we're considered frugal.
A lot of people I know
we're considered frugal because, like the pair of shoes. Like, I just bought a new pair of shoes after my old pair of shoes literally had no insole in them. Like, the rubber was completely worn away. I was basically walking on my socks, essentially. That's when I replaced my shoe. It's like, I will go an insanely long time before replacing anything, because what am I supposed to do with the old shoes? It's like, I can probably recycle that fabric, but where would I go to recycle it? There's just no place to do that.
I also went through that sort of thing with shoes because way back when I was working with the sign, I was only making like $60 a day, and that all had to go to my wisdom teeth surgery and all that. And I literally walked like 2 knee-sized holes in the heel of my shoes, and I then bought like a $20 pair of super cheap shoes, and they like died in like 5 minutes. But yeah, that's the only time I replaced them. And I only really replaced my my boots that I usually wore to the band and use them as my regular shoes, because the laces on mine were being complete assholes.
Oh no, not the laces. The one thing that you could replace on shoes indefinitely.
Yeah, they were getting all frayed up, and they weren't properly getting into the thing. So like, I found my current boots have a zipper, so they're completely immune to having to worry about the laces. And they've lasted me, what, like 3 years at this point, and they're still watertight. They still work. They're still comfortable. I still wear them every single day. And yeah, you don't need to replace things so often, which is yeah. I would have loved to have these things. They were expensive single shoes though. Like, they were like $100 pair of shoes. Or pair of boots rather, but they're kind of like a jumbo boot thing.
That's actually...
It's expensive.
That's actually kind of cheap compared to the shoes that down where I'm at. Goddamn. Most of the mechanics that I work with, their boots are like well over $300.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, a lot of people have like super Gucci, high-end, really expensive shoes. Like, my boots are not steel-toed. They're lightweight. They're made in China. They're nothing fancy or special, and they're not supposed to be fancy or special. but they're good enough, they do the job, and they're reliable, which is a thing that a lot of people just don't really understand. Is good enough is better than the best thing ever. Like, you don't need name brand stuff. It's another thing. Like, people will literally just spend like $300 on a toothbrush because it has the Supreme logo on it. Like, I don't understand that. I cannot wrap my processor around that shit.
I can't. I would never spend that much on a goddamn toothbrush. I go to the fucking Dollar Tree for my toothbrushes. I don't give a fuck.
Like, everything with Supreme is like instantly like worth 100 times what it's actually worth. Like, I could probably go on Teespring and make a knockoff one and sell it for like $20. Like it's not difficult to create that. It's just
yeah, that's that in the industry. Right. That in the car industry would call, it depends on the make and model that you're buying, but if you're going to buy a Toyota, it's called the Toyota tax. You pay way more than what the vehicle is actually worth. You have the Miata tax. I guess an MX-5 tax if you're, not living in black and white. Like there's these taxes that you pay that are like an NB Miata. I don't know the model years, but I do know that body style. Like you could pay 10 grand for a 20 or 30-year-old vehicle. And that was before the car market crash where all the used cars and everything skyrocketed. Like I still think even with my car and its shitty ass problems, I still think I could probably get 2 or 3 grand for it. Whereas before it wouldn't even be worth $200 or $300.
Yeah, that's generally it. And also, people are just constantly like, you just need the new thing, you need the new thing, you need the new thing. Like, you go to a fucking department, you go to a mall anywhere in the U.S., and there are gonna be people like, hello, would you like a new phone? Hello, would you like a new phone? In the booths, and then they're just like constantly trying to get you to upgrade, even though the thing you have works fine. Like, that's generally a thing in society I've noticed. Like, no, I don't need the new thing. The thing I have works fine. And I constantly get emails from my cell phone provider saying, hey, you want to upgrade to the newest phone? Like, if I were to get another phone from that same provider, I would get like a flip phone and use that with one of those X2 things that allows you to use a landline phone on it. Like, I'd only buy it just so that I could use my rotary phone, like, and just have that in the background. That's the only reason I would get a new one, unless my phone was, like, properly out of commission.
I think that's just because we're poor, though. We find the most valuable, like, not cheap thing, like
Cost effective is
like what I've learned. Yeah, what I found in my life is you don't want to buy the cheapest thing because you can buy the cheapest thing 4 or 5 times and you end up spending what you would normally spend on one of the better priced products in any way. I learned. Well, my mom learned that.
Italians actually have a proverb about that. It's called if you spend less, you spend more.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to get something that's
most definitely
cost effective. I mean, sure, I can get nice things sometimes. Like, I kind of want to get nice furniture, but that's not my main priority. Like, if I'm gonna just get a coffee table, I'm gonna go to the thrift store and buy a coffee table from there. Like, I'm not gonna go to Wayfair and spend like $300 on a Gucci one.
I'll just use my desk.
Yeah, the desk that I have currently, it's actually government surplus. Like, some guy sold it to my housemate for I don't even know how much, but I didn't even pay for it. And it's like this super heavy, super high-end desk that's got like, it's made of all like thick gauge sheet metal, and it's got drawers, and it's got keyboard trays, and it weighs like 600 pounds. Like, you gotta shop around. Sorry?
Have you saved yet?
I saved like right before this.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't want you to go through almost another hour and just be like, oh.
Also, if I were to play Syndic, actual Cyndaquil here, this would be a problem because Gust is actually a flying type move in Gen 2 as opposed to, I think it was actually a normal type in Gen 1. Because, you know, the typings were all fucking in the first gen. Yay!
Yeah, but the typings are still kind of funky with Gen 2 because like they're still ironing out. But like they really would like I don't know.
But Gen 1 is just a fucking mess. Gen 1 is a complete fucking mess. Like Karate Chop, I think actually Mega Punch and Mega Kick, I think they're also they're both normal type, and I think there's a couple of later fighting type moves that are also normal type. But the only good fighting type move in Gen 1 is Submission, and that does recoil damage. There's no physical specialist until like Gen 5 or something like that. And also, Steel type wasn't a thing until this generation, that was Dark type. And Psychic types, I mean, actually the funny thing is, I think bugs were actually, like, immune to poison. They were actually something like that. I think they were weak to poison or something. I don't remember. But, yeah, poison, its weaknesses changed as well. Like, it was a whole mess of nonsense. But, still there?
Yeah, I was listening.
Okay, I just heard Telegram do a ding, and I was like, what? Did something happen?
He got dinged.
Doink.
Yeah, honestly, I really think they should have cut Pokemon off a long time ago, but Nintendo just doesn't know when to quit. And I'm really just, honest to God, I'm not a fan of Nintendo. They have a few furry bait characters, and that's pretty much the only reason that I'll go be like, yeah, Pokemon's kind of good. But like, I don't watch the shows, I don't play the games. But I don't actually participate in anything Nintendo as an official source. I'm not gonna lie, because there's just no reason to. I don't like the company. I don't like what they stand for. I don't like how they treat their fan base. Excuse me.
Well, a lot of this problem actually started with Gen 3 and onward. Like, you had to buy extra things to get all of the things in the franchise. Like, in Gen 2, you plugged the cartridge in, you played the game, that was that. And in Gen 3, you had to buy Pokemon, you had to buy this, that, and the other thing to get this Pokemon, or you couldn't go to this event because that event just didn't exist anymore. Like, you had to buy all of the things, you had to watch the movies, you had to get all the cards, there was so much you had to do on top of just playing the fucking game that it became like, you know, we have to sell you the entire franchise, not just the games. That's really the problem.
Microtransactions, early beginnings, basically.
Everything went downhill with Force Armor. I mean, did you hear about the whole Force Armor thing with Oblivion?
Oblivion? No, I never played Oblivion. I tried to get into it, but it was just...
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not exactly...
Well, not just that, but,
it's a mess.
like, here's the thing, and there's no way you're gonna disagree with me on this. Every single game that has come out, like, after probably 2008, I want to say, is just subpar to anything, at least story-related, to anything before 2000. Like, that 2008 and before.
You're gonna agree with me when I say Halo stopped at 3.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. If 343 wholeheartedly continued what Bungie laid down, because Halo 4 was technically a proper, not just spiritual successor, but a proper successor to Halo 3. Here's the thing. If they had continued that, I really wouldn't have had a problem with 343 and their Halo. The thing is they went into this new created timeline, right? That was Halo 5. But then they scrapped that. And huge spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to hear these spoilers. Massive spoiler alert. Essentially, what they did, just the most dog shit thing that you could do, and they scrapped that whole storyline, and it was like a 5-minute cutscene. Like, they legitimately wrapped up that entire storyline of the creator, the AI. They literally, like, just skipped over the AI completely, basically taking over the galaxy, and it was just like, oh yeah, that happened, and it didn't work. So here's the new bad guy. That, by the way, absolutely shit curb stomped Master Chief, just absolutely destroyed his ass completely. There was no challenge whatsoever. 5 minutes later, you're back to slaying armies as Master Chief. Entire armies. No one can touch you. No, like, he's just this unstoppable machine. But the big bad guy completely, absolutely wrecked your shit.
Yeah, that's a whole spectrum.
And on top of that, but again, that's the thing. The big bad also survived something that there's just no way he should have survived. You know how in the original Halo, when they blew up the ring, the whole ring blew up?
Yeah.
Or they blew up a section, or they sent this pillar of bottoms. Like, they detonated something and a chunk of the ring flew off and completely destroyed the rest of the ring. Anyway, this man survived essentially that. With no special anything. With no special anything. He wasn't wearing, like, a helmet to survive out in space. He wasn't, like, he was just in his fucking bog standard brute armor. Like, no holds barred, complete, who the fuck is this guy? Why should we even, how is he this strong? And that's what really, really, really irritates me about what 343 did with Halo, was they made this super impossible to beat big bad to the point where he, again, destroyed one of the most powerful beings that has ever come across the Halo universe, aka Master Chief, who has done these just obscene, impossible feats of anything, just completely tosses him around like a ragdoll. And it's like, okay, well, how are you supposed to beat that, despite the fact that you're already the unstoppable machine? Like, it was supposed to be this unstoppable force meets this immovable object. The problem is the unstoppable force met a completely immovable object and steamrolled it. And it really pissed me off. And they kind of hinted at this in Halo 4 with Spartan Locke. Canonically, that fight shouldn't have even been a fight. Master Chief should have steamrolled Spartan Locke without a shadow of a doubt, because the Spartan 4s are substantially weaker outside of their armor than Spartan 2s, which obviously Master Chief is a Spartan 2. And the armor that the Spartan 4s are in are supposed to make up for that lack of out-of-armor capability. So the armor is augmented, is far superior to the Master Chief armor that Master Chief originally started in, which I think was Mark III. Well, let's fast forward to Halo 4. Master Chief is now in the exact same armor that the Spartan 4s are in. There is no downside that Master Chief has. He has every conceivable trump card ever conceived, essentially, against Spartan Locke, and he still almost lost that fight. That was horseshit, and I don't care how big of a Halo fan you are, or how little of a Halo fan you are, that fight scene was dog shit, and it shouldn't have even been a fight. Master Chief should have mopped the floor with him. Hell, Master Chief's entire team, I can't remember what they're called. I think Blue Squad or Blue something. It's something blue. They should have mopped the floor with that Spartan squad, because all of Master Chief's team are Spartan 2s in, I think it's like Gen 6 or Gen 7 Mjolnir armor. It shouldn't have even been a contest. And there they were, getting their asses kicked. And it doesn't make any sense. There was no canonical explanation as to why Master Chief got as fucked up as he did in that fight. He even survived a nuke at the end of the game. Or was it Halo 5 then? that we're talking about here. I don't know. It's dog shit. It's absolute dog shit. And that's essentially why I don't like 343 as a Halo contributor. Because there are other contributors to the Halo franchise, that are perfectly fine. I don't know who made Halo Wars, but essentially, and back to what you were saying with Pokemon 3, where it all started, the only way that you know who the bad guys are in Halo Infinite is if you played Halo Wars 2. That is the only way you knew anything about who the new big bads were. They're called the Banished, by the way. And it's just, you know, it so you know the Infinity? You know of the Infinity, right?
No, I paid like no attention to Halo Infinite apart from getting a Nerf blaster of it.
No, well, the Infinity came in actually, I believe, Halo 5. But anyway, it was the most advanced, the largest, and the most, like, it was just this, again, unstoppable force, supposedly. Like, you literally see the Infinity come out of a hyperspace corridor, and literally just steamroll 3 Covenant battle cruisers without even flinching. Like, it rams into them and completely slices them in half. Without even, like, a hint of a sneeze. Yeah, like, without even a hint of a sneeze. Like, no one on the Infinity even, like, they were like, oh shit, what was that? Like, let's pick that out of our teeth. And in Infinite, spoiler alert again, that big bad super immovable object got absolutely steamrolled in less than 5 minutes.
Of course.
Yeah, by the new big bads. Legitimately everything, not just Halo, like Halo 4 and Halo 5 built up, all of that was literally wiped off the board. Like, okay, you guys want to do this? Like, 343 just became a child and just flipped the table. And it's so bad.
And then the doors were eaten by the Tyranids!
And it's just, it's so bad. They like, as a legitimate fan of Halo, like, had 343 again continued what Bungie had laid down, I'd still be a fan of what 343 did. But they just fucked it up so hard. And there is no way to come back from what they've laid down. And 343 is like, yeah, no, don't worry. We're still doing stuff for Infinite. We're still gonna make storylines. We're still gonna do this and that and the other. You know, again, this was the next 10 years of Halo. But they fucked it up. It's fucked. You can't come back from that. Like, at all. You would have to completely wipe the slate clean. Like Master Chief shoves a nuke down the new big bad's fucking mouth and just completely annihilates him and does the hard light somehow bullshit that Cortana did in Halo 4 to survive that nuke and then completely wipe it clean and be like, okay, back to square one. What do we do? But then again, what do you do after that? Because supposedly the Sangheili and all of the other Covenant factions, they're all split into little city-states and all these other things, and some of them like humans, some of them don't, even though in Halo 3, you were pretty much all the Sangheili were on your side. And then you have the Brutes that don't like humans, but I mean, ultimately... Yeah, again, spoiler alert. Yeah, but again, spoiler alert, Cortana destroyed their homeworld, so... Haha! Yeah, they literally turned Cortana into this planet-destroying super weapon of a fucking badass. And she still got... And again, completely wiped off the board, basically. Just be like, oh yeah, she's dead now. And it's like... And then the new AI that they gave Master Chief, not only is she worse in every way, she is so confident and condescending, it's not even funny. Like, she has a fraction of the capabilities Cortana did, and she struggles so much throughout the campaign. And to the point where it's like legitimately Master Chief would be so much better if she just didn't exist. And the motherfucking bitch ends up taking Cortana's name anyway.
The audacity, holy fuck.
Yeah, like, literally, the entire series that you're going through, the entire storyline, she's called the Weapon, because she was designed to take out Cortana. Well, Cortana basically took herself out, trying to take out the new big bad, again, when she destroyed that portion of the ring, and he still survived. So Cortana's dead because she decided to, Allahu Akbar that shit, and failed spectacularly. But yeah, at the end, they were like, okay, so what do we call you? And she's like, I think I have the perfect name. Do you think it's okay, Master Chief? And he goes, yeah, sure. And there she is, new Cortana. Yeah. And, like, she does this condescending snap. Every time she goes to, like, do something, like to unlock a door, she snaps. Like full Karen mode. Fuck this bitch. And she,
I'll let you rant.
Go ahead.
So
I
speaking
could
of
rant
ruined
forever.
franchises, we got Fallout as well. Fallout 76, like, imagine, you make the same game worse, and get rid of the one thing that the franchise is known for, single-player story mode, and then you create this empty-ass world, and then you just turn the entire thing into a multiplayer online-only experience. And the physical discs, by the way, the physical discs are actually just cardboard frisbees. Like, there's no data on them. You still have to download them. You still have to download the fucking game. But there's...
I actually wanted to go on that tangent earlier about Bethesda. Morrowind had more story and more content than Oblivion. Oblivion had more story and content than Skyrim. Skyrim had more content and all that stuff than, I guess, Elder Scrolls Online, but Elder Scrolls Online it's bad. I play it with Azzy all the time, but it's kind of bad. But then that's the same thing. Fallout 3 and Fallout 3 New Vegas had infinitely more content than Fallout 4. And the thing is one of the main reasons Fallout 4 had less content and less avenue was because they wanted to give the voiceless character, you, a voice. So they had to extremely cut down on that content so that you could have a voice. They just had to. They had to cut the content. So they did, and everybody hated it. And what did they do? Then they got rid of the AI entirely in 76. It's back. They made an absolute major update to the game. There are AI and stuff in there now. There is a story now. But much like Halo Infinite, exactly. Much like Halo Infinite, it took Halo Infinite. Hold on. So it took Halo Infinite several years since launch to come out and fix the main issue that their multiplayer had. So this is how Halo Infinite's multiplayer worked, and this is going to piss you off, and you don't even play competitive multiplayer games. The only way to earn XP in Halo Infinite was to complete challenges. You were not given XP per match. It didn't matter how good you were in that match, you were not given XP for that match unless you completed a challenge that you were given on a daily. And it took them over a year to get rid of that method. Now you get points and XP per match, but it's still better to complete these challenges. And 6 months into it, they're like, okay, well, we'll give you a first match bonus, then a second match bonus, and so on and so forth, to the point where they give you 10 XP per match. But again,
it's like
10
playing,
XP...
It's like playing Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm. It just...
It's
incredibly bad.
Yeah, like, it's complete bullshit. Like, grinding to be competitive in a shooter is like the dumbest fucking thing.
And the thing is again, the main thing with Halo is you're not unlocking weapons. You're not unlocking things to help you out. you're just unlocking cosmetics. So you're not actually grinding for anything that will help you on in later. A level 1000 is going to have no different fucking abilities or anything like that than the level 1 that's run into that game, which is extremely for balancing and fair, and it's how Halo has always been. But it's just one of those things where the future of gaming is bad. It's going downhill, and a lot of the franchises that we grew up with, they just don't exist anymore because there's just no content to them anymore. No major... And game companies want $70 for these husks of games that aren't even complete on launch. Like
if Pokemon
it's insane.
Crystal,
The new...
if Pokemon Crystal was fun, they would have to, like, actually go through it because they couldn't just update it on the console, and then I'd be stuck with that problem right now. But nowadays, they're just like, oh, let's put on a 70 gigabyte patch on it, and it'll be fine. No, it won't.
There's no file compression. Yeah, and there's another issue. There's no file compression anymore. Games are literally hundreds of gigabytes. Like, if I wanted to play War Thunder right now and re-download it, it would be like 150 gigs. If I wanted to play World of Warships, it would be like 200 gigs. For these basic, bare-ass graphics compared to some of the, like, triple dev games. But, like, Call of Duty is, like, they're, like, Grand Theft Auto's over 100 gigs, Call of Duty's over 100 gigs, Battlefield's over 100 gigs. It's like, you can't have more than, like, 10 games on your computer if you only have a terabyte. These games are absolutely massive. There's no file compression like they had to do back in the day. You had 200 megabytes to be able to do, like, 3 hours of gameplay. And then you had another 2 megabytes for another 3 hours. It's like you had these constraints that you had to fit and go around and make these things work in these games with these parameters, but now you can just go out and buy 80 terabytes, so who the fuck cares on how big these games are?
And there's also no incentive to actually ship games that are actually good on launch, because, oh, we can just do it later, so we get... And also, there's this constant forgetting of that people want to play single-player games. Like, I want to play a game by myself at times. Like, I want to play Stalker. I don't want to play, like... I don't want to play constant, only multiplayer stuff. Like, sure, if you're in chat, I can understand. It's a social experience. But I don't want to get yelled at by salty Russians and nothing else. Like, I want to play games I can play on my own. Like, I don't want to have to know somebody or connect to the internet. Like, games should work fine without the internet, too. Like, you should be able to play a game with no internet at all. Multiplayer should be, like, a bonus. And devs just don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it used to be that way, but it's not that way anymore. Like, I want to be able to play a single-player game, but I also want to be able to play the single-player game cooperatively. I want to play this story mode and experience this story mode with my friends. And it's just not something that's possible. You either buy a single-player game or you buy a multiplayer game, and there's no in-between.
Here's how a game is supposed to work. You have a physical game, you put it in the console, you press play, you play the game. That's how it should be. You shouldn't have to download and update and all that shit, and you shouldn't have to worry about whether or not you can play it or not on your own. Like, put the game in, turn it on, game's playing.
So there's a new horror game out.
Of course there is.
That came out December 9th of last year. It's called Choo Choo Charles. It's literally a spider train. This massive fucking creepy ass spider train from hell. It chases you down and it tries to kill you. It's a 5-hour game at most to 100% it. You want to know how much that game is?
How much?
It's $20.
Yeah, I mean, for 5
it's not bad
hours,
at all.
It's not too bad. I got so much.
And that's the thing is,
RimWorld. Especially mod support is great. Like, mod support is excellent because the community, they love the game, they'll add a bunch of content, and you'll have even better return on investment. Like, I play RimWorld heavily modified, and I love it. It's one of my favorite games. And you don't need multiplayer. In fact,
And
I
then
don't
the
even
devs
think
will
it
just
has
come by and add those mods.
Yeah, you just,
Nope, there's multiplayer. There's a mod for it.
yeah, of course there is. I haven't even tried it though, to be honest. Multiplayer on that. Also, isn't it kind of funny? This guy is supposedly a fire eater, and yet he fucking only has 2 coughing, which are poison types. Isn't that hilarious? That guy I just beat. He had 2 coughing, and he was a fire eater. Okay.
He had an act for that, I guess. He was like, yeah, do I want fire types? Nah, that's too generic. I'll be a fire eater, and I'll have gas Pokemon. Yeah, I'll light them on fire. I'll have flaming balls of bullshit to hurl at you when they faint.
It's like completely stupid. But then again, I think, oh, what was it? The funny thing is, the Poison Gym has like, see, he's got a fire type. Well, he had a fire type. Oh, he did
Yeah,
damage.
and then you killed it, you bastard.
Shouldn't have sent it against me then. Oh. Okay. Oh.
And then there are just some games that just take the DLC and things to the absolute limit. Hello, Train Simulator. But there are some games.
One of the Mass Effect games, they literally walled off a giant portion of the Normandy if you didn't buy the DLC. Like, physically walled it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
But then there are
DLC
games like
should be an
Microsoft
addition
Flight
to the
Simulator. Oh yeah, most definitely. Not a mandatory must. I totally agree. You and I are very similar minded on that. They have the Spruce Goose. Are you fucking serious? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Microsoft Flight Simulator stuff because I decided to talk about them. But like that simulator, it's a $60-$70 game. Unless you get the 40th Anniversary Premium Deluxe Edition, then it's a $120 game. But on top of that, you also need a flight stick and a joystick and a supercomputer to run it. So it's like, it's not a cheap game. And then you also need other things to run it. And it's one of those... Oh, are you kidding? They have a fucking Pelican. They have a Halo Pelican in stock Flight Simulator? What?
Well, I mean, they're both owned by Microsoft at this point, so...
That's amazing. I mean, it's true, but it's amazing. That is fantastic. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, oh god, like I would want nothing more than to own Microsoft Flight Simulator 40th Anniversary Edition. But then I would need a joystick, and if I wanted like the full in-depth experience, I'd try to run it on VR, but then my computer would melt because it's just not fit for that. But it's like, it's still a $60 game before taxes, because I actually get taxed in my state for buying digital assets like fucking video games. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's either, and I was actually explaining this to one of my I'm in a Discord that has a flight, like a flight only, what's it called, the flight hangar. Yeah, it's one of the little different chats, and they play DCS World and Microsoft Flight Simulator and all that stuff, and they're like, I can't play any of these simulators anymore because it's too much effort. And I'm like, and they go, or it's no effort at all and it's not even a simulator anymore. And I'm like, that's kind of where the issue is these simulators are getting so intense that it's literally a full-time job. You actually can't go into this Microsoft Flight Simulator or DCS World without legitimately knowing how to fly these planes, start these planes, or do anything like that. Like, it's a legitimate full-time job for a lot of these modern simulators. It's like, that's the thing, is people for the last 20 years have wanted these ridiculous, absolutely high tech and simulated simulators. And now that they have it, it's like, okay, so where's the content? It's like, this is the content. It's another job. Congratulations. You wanted this for the last 20 years, and now you have it. You want to go home? You want to come home from your job to go to another job? No! You wanted to do something fun, which these simulators just don't simulate.
Yeah, that's generally also a thing. Like, I mean, there you have to have it. There's a difference between just, going full simulator and actually being fun. Like, you have to have some element of arcadiness to any game to make it actually enjoyable. Like, you can't just be like, oh, we're the most realistic simulator ever. Like, if you want to actually realistically simulate something to the most extreme degree, then you just, do it in real life. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, fuck you, Tarkov, and everything you stand for. I hate you so much.
I'd recommend you play Stalker Call of the Zone or Stalker Anomaly if you want something that basically that's relatively simulator-ish, but still relatively not. Like, there's definitely some arcadiness to it, but there's also some simulation to it. I mean, it's better than the original Stalker in terms of realism, but it's not so realistic it's not fun anymore. Like, there's a balance you have to strike.
Most definitely. But like Microsoft Flight Simulator X or 10 or whatever it was before this newest Microsoft Flight Simulator, what you could do is, like, even though it was a simulator, you could create just these absolutely hurricane level storm like scenarios where you could literally take a Boeing 747 off without even moving. You could crank it up to like 300-mile-an-hour winds and just kind of fly in place with a 747.
Just
and it's just
to find out, yeah. Like
exactly, and
dumb shit you could do. Ooh, cynical.
But like I have so many games that I really want, but then when I think about it, it's like, I really don't want that. Like, I used to be into games like RimWorld. I used to be in the micromanagement game business. I loved micromanaging. I loved Civ. I loved all of that. And I don't think I have too many hours on RimWorld.
Noodle, look. Look at the screen.
It looks so fugly.
Yes, and it's stronger. How close is
It's
my
stronger.
How close is the egg? Close to hatching.
Egg. But I actually only have about 30 hours in RimWorld. Interesting.
I have hundreds.
Let's see how many you actually have. I can actually go to game lists and go to games we both own. Yeah, you have just an absurd amount of hours in Civ 5. You have an absurd amount of hours in 7 Days to Die. God damn. But you have 533 hours in RimWorld. That's like streamer levels. Like, I watched a streamer, his name is Adam vs. Everything, and I learned a lot. Like, that's the thing, is I learned a lot about how to play RimWorld. I could create, if I really wanted to, from scratch, if I wanted to go into RimWorld right now, I could make a very, very successful base at 500% difficulty, no pause. Because that's legitimately all this dude plays. And it looks absolutely fun. It looks so much fun. But when I go into it, it's like, I really don't want to do this when I actually play the game. When I watch somebody play Tarkov, I say, that looks like so much fun. I really want to play a game like that. But when the challenge hits, like, I played Tarkov for like 2 hours today, and I did absolutely nothing but die. I did nothing but die that entire time, and I thought, why am I playing this game? Like, I'm to the point of uninstalling Tarkov, and I'm like, every time I play this game, it's just not fun for me anymore. And the thing is games that are absolutely extremely fucking hard, Like RimWorld, you have God mode. You have God mode in RimWorld. You can resurrect pawns with no ill side effects. You can get rid of scars and all these different ailments. You can do all of that stuff on the base game. There is no challenge if you don't want to challenge in RimWorld. But in Tarkov, and it would be insanely easy. It would be the easiest thing that they could do to appease literally every type of first-person shooter person out there that they ever wanted. All they have to do is introduce difficulty modes. Easy mode is PvE, player versus entity co-op. It's still multiplayer. You know, it's still challenging. You know, these AI will literally shoot you through a fucking wall. They're fucking aimbotted bullshit, fucking God mode. Like, it's still challenging. But in co-op, it's not as challenging as being sniped from across the map by a hacker. Like, it's not challenging. It's challenging, but it's not impossible. And so they could do that. And then with easy, because it's all AI controlled, you could change the difficulty. You could make the AI stronger. You could spawn in the scav boss, which is basically just a walking tank of bullshit. And you could make it as hard as you wanted it to be with co-op and still have a realistic, super fun shooting experience. And then you move up to medium. What would medium be? Well, it'd basically be Tarkov as it is now, but with really no limitations as far as the market goes. Like right now, you can only buy X amount of things from the dealers, and you can only find, you know, these super really good, really rare items out in raid, or basically upgrade your hideout to build these items yourself. So it would basically be that, but there'd be no limitations. You wouldn't really have to upgrade your hideout to be able to create these things. You wouldn't have to go out and find these ultra rare items. The dealers would just have it, like back in the day when dealers had no limit and they just had the thing that you wanted. And then hard would be basically how Tarkov is now, without changing anything. And then they'd have the extreme, because some streamers like to make this game impossibly hard. So basically, hardcore would be, you have a little pouch, it's called the Gamma container, or the Delta container, or whatever. It's basically, if you die and there's things in that container, you don't actually lose those items. So you wouldn't have that container anymore. You would start with a hatchet, you'd start with no money, and you'd have to loot legitimately everything to survive. Which is almost impossible to do in Tarkov, but it is possible. It's again, like 99% impossible unless you're god tier at the game. But that's all they have to do. And then every single ounce of bullshit that I have against Tarkov would immediately evaporate. It would be the best game that I've ever played in my entire life. That would be the only game that I would play forever. And then you and I could play it together because it would be player versus entity. It wouldn't be competitive. We could be really cringe and roleplay in it as if we're a real legitimate military squad going in and taking out all these scavengers. You know, like we could do that. But I honestly would not wish Tarkov, like as Tarkov is right now, I wouldn't wish that hell on literally anybody. I would personally rather you cut your hand off with a spoon than play Tarkov in its current state of game. It is so bad. It is dog shit. And it is such a simple fix to make it the best game on the planet. Bar none.
Yeah, fair. There's also the other way too, like if the game is so fucking easy that there's no challenge at all, then that's also a problem. Like, modern Pokemon, they give you 1 million max revives at complete random for no reason. And on my Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon playthrough, I have a really good team anyway, but I have 1 million frickin' of the max revives. They just give you so much in terms of items in the game that it's no problem to just bullshit your way through all of it. I really should not have used water gun on Paris. I'm stupid. I forgot these park rats.
Oh yeah, no, I completely understand that that there does need to be a challenge in a video game, but the whole point of the challenge is for it to be selectable. If you want to go super hardcore tryhard, you totally can. Like in Pokemon, let's keep it within Pokemon for right now. If let's say I didn't want to be like the very best. I just wanted to go out and have an Bork Nom Nom. You know, I could go out and I could do that. You'd put it on the easiest difficulty you could. You wouldn't have any random encounters. You wouldn't have any fights. You wouldn't have to do anything, and you could just go and get that Aura Bork Nom Nom. God damn, that is hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. And just basically have Pokemon as it would be in real life. You just have this fluffy friend. And then obviously you could rank up the difficulty from there, from the menu screen, and if you wanted super hardcore challenging best EVs and stats and all that stuff, you could totally do that. And like you have absolutely no revives, or you only have some sort of potions to like barely make it back to the Pokemon Center. Like if you wanted to make it Tarkov of Pokemon, you could. But again, as long as you had that range of difficulty, it would literally pander to every gamer there is, bar none, without a doubt, without trying. And a lot of games don't do that.
Speaking of Pokemon that you might like, there's also Crystal Clear, which is basically this game, but completely open world, so you can actually choose exactly where you want to go, where you live and start. You can choose a bunch of different starters. You can get every single Pokemon in the game, and you can go anywhere you want at any time. No worrying about, people standing in your way of the story and all that. Like, you can do that, but we're playing regular Crystal here. Crystal Clear is awesome. I mean, Liquid Crystal is basically just this game, but on the Game Boy Advance. And Beta Emerald, I mean, it's just regular Emerald Plus. You get all the Pokemon up to Gen 7. So I don't think you get like Camerupt and get that, but you get like anything from X and Y and before. You also get like the fairy types, which really fucks with my head. Like fairy types, like water types. You understand that plant drink water, therefore grass type superior to water in that matchup, right? What the fuck is a fairy? And like the rules for what a fairy type is doesn't make sense to me. Also, a lot of normal types turned into fairy types after Gen 7, and it's just like, what? The hell is going on?
Thank you, Charizard, for existing. Isn't Charizard considered a fairy type? I think so. It's a fire fairy or something.
No, it's fire flying.
No, I think it's fire fairy. I think it's something ridiculous because people were in an uproar about it.
It's always been fire flying. But it turns into Fire Dragon, I think, when you Mega Evolve it.
Oh, it is fire flying, huh? Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should listen to you.
I've been playing Pokemon since 1998. I only stopped playing Pokemon when they were like, hey, random encounters? No, those are too hard for Americans to understand. God, that decision makes me fucking cringe.
Cringe.
Oh no, Metapod! Screenshot! Whatever shall I do? After this boss fight, maybe I guess we could call it.
It's only been 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Still, for a while. I don't think Kakuna's gonna do anything. I asked Kakuna, the most violent and terrifying of foes. He didn't even hit anything besides tackle. And it was hard to tackle, I think. Hard, yeah, missed the point. I'm using a special attack, that's not gonna do you anything. You could have at least hit me and made me do something. Scyther is what you gotta worry about though, because it's got Fury Cutter, which gets stronger and stronger and stronger. I don't think Scyther has very good special defense. And it's also like only 4 levels under me. It does nothing at first, but then it like doubles in strength every turn, from what I remember. It's like roll out, but better, I guess.
But better. Superior. Oh god, that reminds me. There are so many goddamn people that are just dumb as fucking dog shit, dude. Like, god, it is just... And they're all fucking just anyway. So there was a recall on our 2022 Palisades, not
there.
ours as in from just our dealership, but in the Palisade in general. So Hyundai came out with a
Victory!
Hyundai came out with a recall warning. They're like, hey, by the way, in some situations where ice and snow build up on the windshield, your wiper motor won't work. So we're looking into this issue. They call it like a wiper blade motor issue or whatever. So anyway, long story short, the recall remedy becomes available. It ends up just replacing the driver's side wiper arm. They redesigned it a little bit. And I can't tell you how many people calling. Yeah, I'm wondering to see if there's a recall remedy available for the wiper motor for my 20 whatever Palisade. Yep, it looks like this is the exact thing I say. Yep, it looks like they have come out with a remedy available for that recall. Looks like it is to replace the driver's side wiper arm. So we do need to order that part, and we'll get that on order. No, I'm talking about the motor, not the wiper arm. And I'm like, yes, this recall supersedes your wiper arm motor issue. Your fucking vehicle's wiper motor. That they found out that it's not the motor, it is the wiper blade design. So they're changing that. It's the wiper blade arm design. They're changing that. Well, no, I'm talking about the motor. Sir. Please. Sir and or madam.
And or house plants. Alright.
God, they're so fucking dumb.
Right. I guess that's our... 1064, please. Can you get my way? Right. Well, I guess that'll do it for our stream today. So, anyone who watched, thanks for bearing with us through all of our problems figuring shit out. We'll see you next week.
Thick and thin. See you next week. Once a week, everybody. That's how you win the big bucks.